Ice Grumpy brand here because I recorded this video in its entirety, but for some reason, OBS had decided it's going to select a different mic than the one I have. So, as a result, it captured literally none of the audio. Literally none of the audio. So, that's cool. So, I'm going to be a little bit more mad this time around than I had initially done when I first did the take in this video. So, yeah, sorry about that ahead of time. I'm a little irritated. Anyways, I took a break from DBD social media for a couple days there. It was really nice. It was really cool, and I enjoyed it a lot. You should definitely do that if you're feeling a little bit burnt out about the DBD community, because they certainly are a handful a lot, aren't they? But when I came back, I discovered the exact reason why I took that break in the first place, because some of the hot takes I was seeing in the DBD community, man, I don't know what happened in the last few days, but you guys kind of like went off the rails very, very heavily. You went off the rails very, very heavily. There's some takes that I have seen out there in the community that are just very entitled and scary. Just some things that just kind of shows that, I don't know, in a vacuum, the DBD community just likes to complain and whine and just kind of want everything to always go their way. And that leads us to this topic of today's video, which is that people are wanting Hatch to be reworked again. People are upset in general about Hatch as a concept, as if it was like the basement conversation. You know, people talk about like, oh, is basement even something that, you know, needs to be in the game anymore? People make that conversation. We have that argument all the time. They're talking about Hatch the same way now. They're talking about, oh, well, like Hatch is an outdated mechanic and it just needs to go. So this isn't even just like one community creator, because like, you know, not like if they did, if one community creator had said this, that I would even go after it, because like, I don't want their community coming after our community. That's no bueno. I don't want to put you guys in any sort of emotional distress just over a video game. So, but multiple people have been complaining lately about like the Hatch situation, and it's basically been narrowed down to two takes, which is that first, that the Hatch as a concept is a free escape, meaning that, you know, it is an unearned win, it is an unearned victory for the survivors, and the other take kind of being that DCing to give Hatch removes a part of counterplay for killer, because that gives them less time to try and find the Hatch compared to the survivor, which is like, we're going to cover that. But first, what I want to do is put this in perspective, because if we're going to be talking about Hatch as if it was a free escape, I want to take you back to a time in DBD where Hatch quite literally was a free escape, and where it really was one of the most frustrating mechanics in the game, and kind of put it in perspective based on the complaints that people are having now. If you didn't know, back in the good old days of DBD when everything was perfect, smile, Hatch used to actually be a free escape. So Hatch now doesn't spawn until it's literally the last survivor alive. So 3 people have to be dead for Hatch to spawn. Back in the day, Hatch used to actually spawn before that. It would be closed. It wouldn't be open like it is now. But it would actually spawn closed on the map after a certain number of gens have been done, after a certain number of people were dead. So it would just show up on the map as an ambient object just throughout the match, just based on how things were going. Now, keys do what they do now, even though keys are weaker now because of the way Hatch works. Keys do what they did now, where they open the Hatch. And if you didn't play back then, I guess you can already see where this is going. So these would lead to really, really miserable situations, because what would happen is the survivors would literally either bring a key or just loot chests to find a key and escape a match early, because you could take your whole team with you. It didn't have to just be you. You could take everybody else with you out the Hatch and then leave in the middle of a match. It didn't matter what the circumstances were. You could just get a key, go find where Hatch is ambiently spawned on the map, and leave early. And just leave early and take your whole team with you. This especially happened a lot when it came to 3-gens. Now, 3-genning is either a tactic employed by the killer or a mistake made by the survivors. Often it's both. Killers either choose to give up certain gens strategically in order to create a small pocket where they can pressure things easier, which is especially helpful on killers that don't have a mobility option, or especially the weaker killers in the game. And also, this can be a mistake, you know, made by the survivors who are just 2-gen happy, slamming through their gens so quickly that they're not paying attention to how spaced out their gens are. And then when they get down to the last 1 or 2, they're all just like crammed together, and it's really easy for the killer to pressure them. Either way, whether it's a smart idea made by the killer, which should be rewarded because it was a smart play, or it's a misplay on the survivors, which should be punished because it's a dumb play, this should play out the way it does. It shouldn't be stopped, and they certainly shouldn't be able to just kind of go find Hatch and all escape at the same time. Essentially, you could undo 3-gen situations by just instead of, you know, having to deal with it by trying to break the 3-gen, by trying to play and, interact, you could just go start searching chests outside of the 3-gen and then rally everybody up near the hatch away from the 3-gen and just pop through the hatch and leave. You didn't have to deal with either the killer's good play or your mistake. You could just go, which felt bad because like bad play should be punished and good play should be rewarded. It was a garbage mechanic. The way old hatch worked felt bad, and it was one of the least fun aspects of playing killer as DBD was just dealing with that. Was that at any given point they could just like leave for free if they either brought a key or their chest RNG was good. And it was just a horrible feeling. It really was actually a free escape, and it was garbage, and it was one of the best changes that they made. Now, it made keys kind of useless as an item, but I already made a video talking about how you can, try to buff keys, give them an alternative use that makes them kind of a Duolingo thing. That's cool. But what we're talking about is that people now think that hatch is a free escape. And I'm going to go on a limb here and say that I fundamentally disagree with that as a concept because I have literally never felt that way. I've never ever felt that way. I've never felt somebody going through hatch. I've never felt that was a defeat. I never thought it was a free escape. If anything, in my brain, I have dominated the match so much that they have to essentially take their last chance out. Like they've been given another chance, their last chance out. If I have pressured the game so much and put them in such a losing spot that they need that to escape, I feel like I've done pretty well. Even if they have to DC to cause that situation to happen quicker, that all the more to that, right? Like I have beat you guys up so badly that you feel the need to sweat and DC just to try and trigger the hatch situation early. That means I've done really well, right? That means I have whooped the other 3 players very, very intensely. And I know there's technically no win condition in DBD, but I think the general community thinks 1K loss, 2K tie, and 3K is a win, 4K is a dominant win, right? Right. So like I have clearly won very, very well. I have played the game very, very well in order to get to the spot to begin with. So I'm not like upset if somebody, ends up getting the hatch because I'm just like, oh, okay, well, like I beat him up anyway, right? Like I clearly won. I clearly did so well to even cause the situation in the first place. And like I don't get where this idea comes from. That's like it's a quote unquote free escape, because that is what it's being referred to as. It's being referred to as a free escape because there's a lot of decision making that goes into finding hatch. It's not just like kind of like okay, now you're just in this giant map. Everybody go run around and look at each other. Like. As the killer, you can decide to try to find the survivor based on where they last were or any info that you have, or you could try to go find the hatch yourself, which is, dependent sometimes on the character you're playing or like stuff like that. As the survivor, you have to think about like, common places hatch spawns, like, shack, main buildings, stuff like that. But you just got to be careful about like running around. Do you want to just sprint the whole time? Because like that will help you cover your bases more. It'll help you check more areas, but obviously you're leaving a ton of scratch marks, so the killer will find you doing that. Or do you want to like, mix in some walking here and there and like try to like make it ambiguous where you are, but potentially, give the killer more space to find the hatch. It's kind of like it's a fun little mini game that happens after a 3K has already occurred. I have never seen current hatch as a problem, and does it really just come down to entitlement? Is that what it is? Like, do people actually feel that entitled to a 4K that they just want like the last remnant of like a freebie to be gone? And they just see it that way. They just see it as a freebie. I don't necessarily mind if it's like necessarily a 4K. As long as I played well, I'm pretty happy, right? Like I don't care that I don't need that 4K to feel like I played the game well. Is that what it really comes down to? Is it just entitlement? Is it just us trying to like secure the 4K by getting rid of like the hatch mechanic? Because technically it's not a 3K, even though you won the match. Is that it? Because like that would be disappointing, but that would make sense as to why people are upset. So yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments below, because this is kind of like, I don't know, kind of a weird one for me, and I definitely don't agree with it. So let me know what you think. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today's video, friends. Thank you so much for watching. I do upload daily, so I will see you tomorrow, but if I don't, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.